Will he or won't he? Is he in? Is he out? Are all of you getting just a little tired of what I refer to as the Biden drama? They've got nothing to talk about to chip into the momentum that Donald Trump and the RNC have this week. So now we're back to the pressure, the coordinated effort to get Joe Biden off the ticket. And I'm sorry to sound this callous about it, but it's kind of like when you've gotten word that a very elderly loved one may pass, they may not pass. You might want to come, you might not. If you come now, if you're traveling from out of state, you might not be able to get back here, for the funeral. All those things that race through your mind. This is what I feel like we're at with Joe Biden. He has said multiple times he's in, but then he got a visit from Chuck Schumer and the Warlock. And you've got Nancy Botox Pelosi out there poisoning the water because she's been listening to all of her caucus members, i.e., the Democrats serving on Capitol Hill. And he has had phone conversations and private face-to-face meetings, and now he finally cracked in an interview when he said, if a doctor told me I needed to, I would. And Shazam Batman, he's got the election flu. That flu that didn't allow us to, in many places, to vote in person back in 2020. Remember that flu? There's a name for it. It starts with a co. I can't quite remember it now, but hey, we're bringing it back as a golden oldie replay. And is this going to be the excuse that after he quarantines in seclusion with his family that he comes out and says, you know what? I just haven't quite got it like I used to. Joy Reid last night said there was a time that this diagnosis for people his age was basically a death sentence, that Dr. Fauci and ventilators would have to be brought in. But if Joe Biden in a couple of days is back into action, it shows that he's just as resilient as Donald Trump after being shot. Really. I'm just convinced Joy Reid over at PMSNBC is just stone cold, psychotically crazy. In or out, make up your mind. But all of this right now is happening to try to blunt what's happening at the RNC.
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth.
Hi, I'm Pastor Marty, and welcome to the Afternoon Drive. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, and once you are, smack the bell, click the word all. That will give you notification of my rants, my ravings, and my completely undeniably flawless, if not perfect, reasonings. Please like and share these videos. Thank you so much. We don't receive any type of remuneration for this. I don't have sponsors. I'm not making any money off of these videos. They're non-monetized. I'm not directing you to Patreon to give me a donation. I'm not selling merch with my logos or stuff on it. I'm just trying to get you information. You can help me by spreading the word and posting links to these videos on your social media platforms. That's the way that we get the word out that we're here, because we certainly know YouTube is not going to do it for us. Thank you so much for watching. I'm not sure if there is a more clueless person, and I'm trying to be nice about this because I think as an individual, she's probably a nice person. But Crystal Ball over at Breaking Points, I've never seen anyone who can have 2 blocks here and 2 blocks here, and when she adds them together, she comes up with 5 or 7. Nobody can quite figure out why she married a guy who, is still talking like it's the early 2000s and yo dog, like, he's, from the TV show Breaking Bad. The hairdo that he's got, that, by the way, Joy Reid over at PMSNBC has the same hairdo. Kyle Kulinski giving his so-called political commentary, and, he's never right about any of his conclusions. And, it's bad enough that Crystal's got a couple of kids, and then she marries Kyle. Now she's got a third kid, and, you can tell sometimes she has to rush off the set of Breaking Points to, go pick Kyle up at soccer practice, or take him on a play date somewhere. But listen to this. She and, her guests here on Breaking Point, they've been talking about, the Chuck Schumer went to see Joe Biden and said, it's over. The Warlock who, on Capitol Hill there, told Joe Biden, it's over. You have Nancy Botox Pelosi, won't come out and say it, but she's definitely hinting at it real heavy. Now, say what you want about these people. They're politically savvy. There's no path forward for Joe. And Crystal, after talking about all that, then says this.
Now, listen, Joe Biden was losing before the assassination attempt, and he is still losing after the assassination attempt. But at least from the minimal polling that we've seen so far, it didn't actually move the needle that much. And so there were a lot of confident pundit predictions of like, oh, it's over, and there's going to be this huge movement in Trump's direction. So far, that hasn't really shown up. And I wondered what you made of that, Emily, because my own thinking was that you'd already had a lot of movement away from Biden in the wake of his disastrous debate performance. And I'm just not sure, given how polarized, like partisan polarized we are, how much more of a shift there can really be towards Trump among those who are on the fence, since a lot of that had already come right after the debate disaster for Biden.
Well, clearly the polls show it's not as bad as we thought. And Donald Trump didn't get the bump that we thought he would get after being shot at. So, come on, guys. Maybe Joe is the guy.
Okay. First of all, national polling can be skewed any way you want to take it. When Chuck Schumer had his little sit down with Joe, make him an offer he can't refuse, he didn't go into that meeting with Joe empty-handed. He went in there armed with facts. The facts that, the stooges at Breaking Points apparently don't consider. Internal polls. State polls. Not national polls, state polls. Where what Joe Biden is doing to the Democrats running in that state for Senate seats and congressional seats. And those polls paint a drastically different picture. The national polls show everything, where Donald Trump is winning, but he's winning by like 3 points, 4 points, this state, that state, etc. Oh, no. Those are the national polls. Then they wanted to talk about Crystal and Emily. Talked about how, Trump has a ceiling. Yeah, everybody thought there was a ceiling on Ronald Reagan going into the weekend right before the election. He and Jimmy Carter were right here, and it turned out to be a landslide blowout for Reagan. Same was true with, in fact, George H.W. Bush was being beaten by Michael Dukakis. And then that all changed. Couple things that Crystal is, needs to look into her crystal ball and, accurately predict the future. What she's not understanding is the internal polling is showing this is a landslide. And the Democrats at the top wanting to switch Biden out, it's not even about, the strategy is not about can they get the White House. They pretty much, Trump is on this train, and Crystal could say what she said, hasn't moved the needle, the being shot, none of it's moved the needle. Yeah, it has. Yeah, it has. You've got the donors have dried up. You have 2/3 of the Democratic Party 70% nearly don't want Joe Biden to be the nominee. Nobody can run if almost 70% of his party doesn't back him. He's hemorrhaging the black vote. He's hemorrhaging the Latino vote. He's done. Crystal, you should be able to understand that when you're looking at this data in front of you. And Chuck E. Cheese Schumer and Nancy Botox Pelosi certainly understand what this means. What they are trying to do is salvage that maybe they can hang on to the Senate and maybe make some more inroads into the House. But they need somebody, at least on the ticket, that excites the base enough to get them to go out and vote. They don't believe they can replace anybody at this point that can overtake Trump because Trump is poised. Because notice all the attacks on Donald Trump, for all of their talk on the liberal side about policy and the great things Joe has done, all they do is attack Trump's character. They want to attack J.D. Vance on he's a flip-flopper. He was anti-Trump, now he's pro-Trump. He's an abortion guy. They want to attack him on his character, but they don't really go after policy. So even if they were to get their dream candidate, that somehow they could get Kamala thinks she's a hottie Harris, to stay in the role of VP and bring Gavin Newsom in. Not going to happen, but let's just pretend. Okay, I know he's the guy with the hair, and he's a slick talker. He's run California into the ground. The bottom line is, he still somewhat would have to defend the Biden record, and Trump is going to absolutely just throttle anybody coming in representing what the Democrats have done over the last 4 years and saying, we want another shot. That would be like the captain of the Titanic after they hit the iceberg backing up and saying, let's hit it again and see if maybe that fixes the crack. It's done. I don't want to get overconfident here because anything can happen, and the Republicans on our side could do something really stupid. And that is always a distinct possibility. But the party is unified. They are rocking. They are ready. And America's ready. And the reason I point all this out is just listening to Crystal and some of these other people, their analysis of, even Morning Joe today. He knows that Joe's got to go, but, still talking about, these national polls, they're not that bad. They're not that bad. Newsweek, ran a headline today online. Ooh, Trump slips in polls. No, I think you were actually watching Joe Biden climb the steps into Air Force One yesterday. The small steps, the baby steps. And he was having trouble there. It's COVID. No, it's Biden. So now we're on, I hate to say it, and I don't mean to be callous about this, and, I lost 2 elderly parents, both to dementia, Alzheimer's, and, you get those calls when you think this is it, and sometimes they rally for a few days, and that's kind of like what we're on with the Biden, and there's literally within the party, there's no hope or optimism. The donors have dried up. You've got Elon Musk pledging now $45 million a month. That's what, $180 million pledge between now and Election Day? You have some other billionaires in the tech world that have always backed Democrats and backed Biden in 2020, and they're now financially backing Trump. Crystal. You need to do something else because you and your stepchild husband, Kyle, you guys are terrible at political commentary and observation.